Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, May 30th, and today we're going to cover the news that we covered over the past week at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com. First up, obviously you know Panda 4.0 was released a week ago Tuesday, and Matt Cutts gave some more information on Twitter officially that we really covered last week, but basically he said, think of, let me zoom in there, think of it like P4 as a new architecture brings in some of the softer side, but also lays the groundwork for future iterations. So basically that's Matt Cutts again confirming that this is going to be a softer update somewhat, but yet allow them to do more things in the future, maybe quicker and more on the softer side. This morning I wrote about, and also last night in Search Engine Land, that it seems like not just we'll talk about eBay later, but not just like sites like Retell Me Not and some other sites were hit big time by Panda, but also press release industry. The whole press release industry, or a lot of the press release sites, specifically PR Newswire, PR Web, Business Wire, PR Log, were all hit in terms of search metrics data, showing that drop of about 60 to 80 something percent in SEO visibility. There was a lot of past controversy around press releases, specifically around links. But not necessarily about the content in those press releases. And obviously, if you look at most press releases these days, or a lot of press releases these days, you'll see that most of them, or a lot of them, have a lot of very thin content. Content looks spammy. So I'm not surprised by this. Also, Sear Interactive documented via SEMrush and as well as other screenshots they took about press releases also dropping. So here's a screenshot of PR Newswire showing a 63% drop from here to here. That's right after Panda 4. PR Web. Again, this is a 71% drop. Here's Business Wire showing a 60% drop, and here is PR Log showing an 83% drop, although theirs is all over the place. It's not clear if it's exactly Panda. It could be manual actions, could be something else, or it could be just a bug in the reporting, but this is search metric data as well as SEMrush data that actually corroborates with that. Talking about eBay and Panda 4.0, we initially thought eBay was hit by Panda, and it might have been and it might not have been. We're not sure. eBay won't comment about that. But, like I said, we saw a major drop in search metrics data in terms of eBay. You can see that huge drop after Panda. But what happens is we have confirmed reports. I have those confirmed reports specifically that also at that time eBay received a manual action for some of their sections on their website. Now, sites as large as eBay obviously get probably lots of manual actions just because there's a lot of user-generated content and whatever it might be. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did get a manual action, and they also maybe may have been hit by Panda. Not sure, but there are a lot of things pointing to this manual action. If it was a manual action, it'll probably be easier for eBay to fix than if it was Panda, and so forth. But anyway, we're not exactly sure what's going on with eBay, but they seem to have been hit. This week we covered. It's interesting. So we constantly cover all the little changes in Google. Like, you know, if you read the site, you see any little blip I'll talk about. There was a major blip on Monday and Tuesday going into Wednesday with Google, and we have tons of people talking about it in the forums. We have people actually share these charts with me, and I actually got updated charts. This is the old one, but it shows like Monday and Tuesday a huge increase in traffic. And if you look at the chart from the next day, it actually goes way up. And we have another chart from this person as well, going way up. I got some charts from people from their Google Webmaster Tool showing impression and click data going way up. And a lot of these sites were hit by Penguin and some other things as well. I asked Google, was this a Penguin penalty update? Was it anything spam related? And Google told us, no, it's not related to Penguin. It's not related to any spam controls. They're not aware of anything. It's not surprising. Google has told us this before, and then weeks or days later has announced stuff. Sugar Ray Hoffman actually said, you know, she noticed a lot of things. Patrick Avon said, oh wait, it looks like it's Penguin refresh. Lots of comments from Webmaster World talking about it, but again, Google told us nothing's going on, and obviously a lot of people don't believe that nothing is going on. Anyway, so I'm not sure if you noticed any changes around Monday and Tuesday of this week, but if you did, you are definitely not alone. Another interesting thing this week was that actually just last night, there was an article on Panda, a very popular website, talking about how after Google bought Nest, the thermostat company, it removed one of its biggest competitors from the search results, specifically VivNet or something like that. VivInt. I don't even pronounce that. VIVINT. So VivInt. or Vivint. Anyway, this company, this article is basically saying Google removed them because of competitive natures or whatever, or it might be they might have been doing some spammy stuff or whatever. But Matt Cutts said this is all silly. Google specifically removed them even before, well, 2 months or so before they actually acquired Nest. Two is Google caught them spamming, and they gave them a manual action, which actually sent to their account saying, you got a manual action for spamming using blog networks. And Matt Cutts specifically responded saying, this is just ridiculous because, again, we took action in November. The acquisition was in January. They had huge amounts of spam links coming to their website from blog networks and other areas, which Matt Cutts documented in the Hacker News thread and so forth. Then Matt Cutts reached out to the author of the article saying, you know, what's going on, and basically said, and this author basically said, sure, but it still looks like you're being transparent after your transparency is questioned, blah, blah, blah. I didn't dispute that the company had been spamming, but pointed out the severity of the punishment and level of transparency in Google, yada, yada, yada. He basically is questioning Google's transparency and level of transparency and so forth around this update. So it's interesting to see that as well. This is interesting. So somebody asked me, you know, let's say Google came out with their manual action viewer about a year ago in August of 2013. It basically shows you if you have any manual actions, like manual penalties on your website. Somebody asked me, what happens if you have a manual penalty from 2012, 2011, from dating back from before this? Would it show up in here? And I thought so. I was pretty sure it did. So I asked John Mueller, and John Mueller said, sure, if there's a manual action, it will be shown. So it definitely it's possible for it to be shown, even for backdated manual actions. Google has updated their Fetch as Googlebot, or Fetch as Google tool. The cool feature, there's two of them. One is, obviously, you can hit fetch and render, as you can see over there, for any URL. And you can actually specify either desktop, mobile, or whatever. In addition, it actually shows you the visualization of that fetch and render. Plus, even better, it actually shows you URLs that Googlebot could not access, resources that Googlebot could not access because it's being blocked by one reason or another. So it's pretty cool how that works, and I thought I'd share that. One issue with that is that it no longer supports hashbang URLs, like AJAX URLs. For some reason, it just doesn't work. John Mueller is aware of it, and hopefully they'll fix it. So this is interesting. Matt Cutts released a video, Google's Matt Cutts released a video, talking about answering a question about the first anchor text type of link. So in 2008 or so, Moz published a report claiming that first anchor text counts. Like if you have one page, on this, let's say you have this page over here, and I link to the same, I have two links on this page to the same URL. But in the first URL, I use anchor text of X, and the second URL, the second link to the same URL, I use anchor text of Y. Moz back then published that it only counted the first anchor text of that. Matt Cutts published a video this week saying what happens when you have that scenario, and Matt Cutts said in 2009 he looked into it, and they picked one, they may have picked one of the, or they might have back then picked one of the anchor text. He's basically, in a way, if you really look at his language, he's basically in a way confirming that Google used probably the first anchor text. The question is, where is the first anchor text according to Google, and so forth in terms of that. They don't know if it's changed. He hasn't said if it changed or not, but whatever. So this is a post in Google Webmaster Help. Somebody asking if backlinks from forum profiles help. And John Mueller went out there and pretty much said, just to be absolutely clear, if you are dropping links in your site to your site in other people's forums in the hope of gaming search engines, then that's considered web spam and can be taken into account by both our algorithms and our manual web spam teams. It doesn't matter how much PR the other site has. It doesn't matter if it is a .gov forum. What you're doing would be considered web spam by us. If you care about how search engines like Google view your website, I'd recommend cleaning those links drops up, removing the link to your site, and not doing that in the future. So he's basically absolutely clear, do not do link drops in forums. John Mueller also said, there's a little comment here, that adult sites are not necessarily spammy. Although a lot of adult sites are spammy, not all adult sites are spammy. Just so you know. Google AdWords added the knowledge graph overlays, so you never remember when you click on, you see these things in the actual organic results, like a drop down, and you click on it, it'll actually add knowledge graph information. So they actually added that to the ads themselves as well, which is nice. At least they're testing it. This is very interesting. A law firm is suing their SEO company, not because they didn't get the results they expected, but because they used spammy tactics specifically against Google's Webmaster Guidelines. Matt Cutts pointed to it, and the document goes through everything. And Greg Sterling has a bunch of very interesting questions. I'm not going to go into detail. You should definitely read this article on May 27, 2014, basically documenting, this law firm is not upset, or at least not suing specifically around not getting the results they expected, but they're suing because the actual firm used spammy tactics that were specifically against Google's Webmaster Guidelines. Bing is closing down their webmaster forums. Not surprised. I think it's filled with spam. It's constantly filled with spam. The cool thing is they actually said go ahead and use Webmaster World instead, and that they'll try to participate over there as opposed to their own forums. Google, on their hand, pretty much doesn't respond anywhere but their Google forums, except in cases of Matt Cutts on Hacker News, John Mueller and Stack Exchange, and some other things, but mostly in their Google forums. Google released their diversity report, which is pretty cool. They actually came out with this chart and showed that they're not so diverse. They said there is an issue. It's not necessarily an issue with Google hiring. They would love to hire more diverse groups of people, but the issue is the education's not out there, and they're doing whatever they can financially and with resources to actually improve that. But if you take a look here, 30% are women, 70% are men. You can see over here that 61% are white, 30% are Asian, and only 2% are black. So it's pretty interesting to see that, and Google's pretty transparent about that. So if you think about it, most of Google's search results are crafted by white males. Google actually came out with their prototype self-driving car. It actually looks like a cartoon. It's pretty cool. You should actually take a look at that, and it's fun. It's completely autonomous. You just get in the car. There's no steering wheel, no brakes, no nothing. You get in there, you tell it where you want to go, and it just goes. It's like pretty cute, actually. And this is funny. Google's head of search, Amit Singhal, who's actually Matt Cutts' boss, got a letter in the mail from a local church saying Google can't solve every search, and it was specifically addressed to him. And he's like, "This is something," he said here. What did he say? He said over here, "Not the best targeting to send this to the person responsible for search at Google." So it's pretty funny that the head of search got a card from a church saying Google can't answer every single question. That being said, that is the Search Buzz video recap. I'm sorry it took so long, and I'm sorry I talked so fast. A lot of cover, and I guess that's a good thing you can rewind. Anyway, that's the search news for the past week at the Search Engine Roundtable. Today, again, is May 30th, 2014. Everyone have a great week, and I'll see you guys next. Bye.